Hello and welcome to the Intuitive Heart Healer podcast. My name is Valerie McLaughlin and I am your host, intuitive heart healer, energy artist, and spiritual guide. I hold space with love to help you to connect to your heart center so that you can connect greater to spirit and live a life full of love, joy, and happiness as you are guided by your intuition and higher self, helping you to heal and let go along the way so that you can ascend and become more enlightened. Before we get started with the Intuitive Heart Healer podcast today, I would love to tell you about the Anchor FM podcasting app. It is a great way to get your voice and your podcast out there, and it is absolutely free. It has a wonderful platform with great tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other wonderful podcasting apps. You can make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app to go to @anchor.fm to get started today and start your wonderful journey in podcasting. Hello, beautiful souls. On today's podcast, we are going to talk about death. What does it mean to you? Recently I had a thought about it. I actually went in and had a conversation with my higher self about this topic, and I actually wanted to share it with you because I feel like this topic isn't talked a lot about. Maybe some people are afraid to talk about it. Maybe some people feel others don't want to hear about it. And I think that's part of the reason why I want to talk about it, is because there is this kind of I can't even think of the word. There is this kind of resistance to talk about it because it's feared, because there's so much unknown. And so I decided I was going to talk about it and talk about this reflection, that I went into after reading a post. And I got confirmation to really talk about this when I sat down with a client and they said, "Is there really a heaven?" And I said, "I'm not sure, but this is what I believe. I believe that our souls leave this body when it's time for it to leave the body. When it feels like it's time, when we fulfilled what we came here to do, or sometimes when we've decided we've had enough. But our souls leaves this physical body. Our physical body is what ends up dying, and our souls go back out into this universe. And it's almost like they can choose wherever they want. There's nothing holding them back. There's no time, there's no space. There's just this love and light. And when they are out here, they can choose where and what they want to see and be. Kind of reminded me of a movie I was recommended to watch a few months ago. It's an older movie called What Dreams Become. And it's a Robin Williams movie. And in the movie, he ends up dying. And he comes to, and he's in this beautiful scene I believe there's like a river and fields, and he stands up and he's like covered in paint. And he chose to bring himself to a spot that was his wife's painting. He chose a scene from his wife's painting, and to the point where he was covered in paint. And he went on a journey, and it's a very interesting movie about this topic. What does it look like on the other side? And he goes through this journey, and through this journey he comes across the souls of the children that he had that had also died before him. But they showed themselves differently to him, which is interesting because you can choose to be seen in whatever form you want to be seen, or no form at all, and you could show up that way. There's a lot to the movie that I'm not going to get into right now, that if you're interested, you can go ahead and look it up and try to find it. I believe it's called What Dreams Become. But I was telling the client this, that like we can choose to be wherever we want, whatever time period, whatever timeline, wherever we want. We are expanded. It is like death for our physical body is like birth for our soul. And that's how I feel. The Egyptians felt this way, that when somebody died, they celebrated the death. And most times here on earth, we celebrate the life. The baby comes in and the baby is screaming. And they believe that the baby was screaming because the baby's soul was compacted into this little tiny vessel. And it didn't know how to be in this little tiny vessel when it's so used to being so expansive. And such is our journey through life, is this constant evolving and expansion. And then when this physical body goes, our soul breathes and releases out and becomes this beautiful expansion of love and light. And so what brought this on was actually a post that I had read, and it was about abortion. And somebody put this post up and they said, you're either pro-life or pro-death, because pro-choice is pro-death. And at first when I read that, I had this little inside of me, like, I don't feel this is true. And I was like, do I not feel that it's true because I believe in a woman's right to choose, and I believe the woman has a right to choose what feels right to them and be in their truth? And so I sat with that. And I took it into a meditation, and I had a conversation with my higher self. And I asked that question in the meditation. How can I be pro-choice when pro-choice is ending of a life? The answer I received was, you don't believe death is the end of life. You believe death is a new beginning. Your feelings around death are not the same as the person who is posting this post. And you also believe that each soul comes in here with a purpose. So the soul that comes in here to be with the mother and be with the father, who make a decision to terminate the pregnancy, came here for a purpose, came here to teach and to show this mother and father and all those that are part of that journey something. What that is individual to each and every one of us. And sometimes a soul decides to choose a mother. And when they come in, they realize that they're not ready to be here at this moment. But they came here to help get the mother ready for when they come back to be with that mother. I was like, okay, I can understand that. That makes sense to me, and I believe this. I believe we all come for a purpose. And I also believe death is not the end. I believe death is a beginning to something greater. And I do believe that we come back and we reincarnate into different beings to have different experiences here on earth. So far in this conversation with my higher self, it is making a lot of sense to me, and I continued on this conversation with my higher self because the other part of this whole choosing to terminate the pregnancy also brought up this feeling of, well, if we can choose at that moment to terminate the pregnancy, can we choose to end this life when we want to end this life? As humans, we have a lot of love and compassion for our animals. And when our animals are suffering, we will be humane to the animals and put the animals to sleep so that they do not have to suffer. But we don't necessarily show that same respect to our human form. And so the conversation with my higher self continued. And part of what that conversation was is because as humans, we are not ready to let go of the human. And so as we go through life, we become attached to this human. And unlike animals, we can communicate with each other. And when another human says, I do not wish to suffer anymore, let me die in peace, other humans go, that can't be right. How can they choose not to be in this world? Not all. This is never all or nothing. This is generalized. What begins to happen when we are there with our pets, we are in our heart space. We are doing things with love, what we believe is right for our pets. When it comes to the human form, and we are there with our loved one, we get in our head because they can tell us what they want, but how can they choose not to be here with us? And then it becomes about us and not about them. And it also comes from our fear of death, our fear that We believe death is an end, and it is an end. This journey on Mother Earth is all about death and rebirth, birth and death. But death is not the end. And that's the part that sometimes we don't wrap around our heads around, because when the physical body is not here, it feels like an end. And it, in a way, it is. It's the end of that chapter, but it's not the end of our story. It's not the end of our journey. We continue on. We just take on a different form. But we are still here. And so in this conversation with my higher self, it came to me in that my views on what death is different. And I don't fear death. And I'm not saying that I don't want to be here in this physical form right now, because that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I know that in my whole being, that when this physical form is gone, that I will continue to live on and on and on. Just like you, just like our pets, just like our parents, our siblings, our children, our grandparents, our ancestors that have walked this earth before us. We live on in spirit, and spirit lives here with us, around us. It is not separate from us. It is within us and around us. I would like you to take time and sit with this topic today. Sit with your feelings about what death is, what dying is. Go inside and see what fears come up for you. Because this is how I feel. And this is what I've been shown. And this is the conversation I had with my higher self. And I would like you to do the same. To go in meditation and have this conversation with your higher self. Have this conversation with your friends, with your loved ones, with your spiritual community. Listen with open ears, but also listen with an open heart. Most importantly, follow your heart. Your heart will lead the way. Your heart will lead the way through the journey of death. Take some time and work on any fears that might come up for you. And go deep into these fears. What is actually the fear? Is it the fear of leaving people behind? Is it the fear of what's on the other side? Is it the fear of losing your physical body and being so exposed? These are some things that you can contemplate in meditation on and figure out what you believe. When you look up in the stars, do you see your soul? And when your soul leaves this physical body, does it go back to the stars? And are you a star up in the sky, shining brightly down on this earth? These are only questions that you can answer for yourself when you go into meditation and you have that conversation with your higher self, with your guides. So take the time and really reflect on this. Get comfortable with this conversation. Get comfortable with death. Sit in the uncomfortability to get there. I know I have, and I'm sure I will continue on that journey, because that journey is never over. It just keeps going on and on and on. Thank you all for taking the time today to listen to this topic. If you have any questions or comments about this topic, please reach out to me at intuitivehearthealer@gmail.com. Leave a comment if you like in the podcast app that you're listening on. And really have a beautiful day. Go out and spread some love in this world. If you would like to work with me, you can go to intuitivehearthealer.com. Follow me on Instagram at intuitivehearthealer, or Facebook, join my group Intuitive Heart Healer. I have this wonderful hashtags that I do for each day to help you if you're new to this journey or would like to continue on this journey and develop some type of daily practice, daily rituals. I have daily hashtags for you to post within the group or for you to sit with each day and write in your journal. Like, tune in Tuesdays. What are you tuning in to today? If you're not sure of how you would like to work with me, go ahead and book an intuitive heart call and let's have a conversation. Let's see where you're at and how I can help you along your journey by holding the space with love and light so that you can heal and grow all on your own with the love and support of me and all your angels and guides and ancestors all around. Till next time, everybody, go out, continue to spread love, shine your light, sending all my love and light to all of you. Bye-bye for now.